artificial gravity. Artificial gravity is a situation in which the value of gravity has been changed artificially to a more closely matched of Earth gravity. Basically, artificial gravity in future space station is related to the corresponding unit under the concept of centrifugal force, centripetal acceleration, and linear acceleration. Gravity is defined as an attractive force between all objects, including the motion of planets and stars, and the sole purpose of replicating the force on the Earth's surface in outer space is to minimize the chances of astronauts having space adaptation syndrome (SAS), which is a condition includes severe nausea and disorientation during and after space travel. Artificial gravity is used to allow astronauts on space mission to experience similar conditions to that of on Earth, which will be able to reduce prolonged period of weightlessness that includes the loss of muscle tone. This is where it relates to our syllabus of Unit 1, because in order to produce artificial gravity, the space station has to be in constant rotation, which is the concept of centrifuge, a fictitious force in a rotating, accelerating or non-inertial frame of reference. Also, the concept of centripetal acceleration is used to provide an accelerated environment that simulates gravity. An ideal way of doing so is by using a rotating environment such that of a rotating space station.
Then, what is the centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration is an instantaneous acceleration that is directed toward the center of a circular path and can be calculated by using the formula v²/r. However, how does this centripetal acceleration work? Since centripetal acceleration will only happen when an object with a certain velocity travels in a circular path and in a particular radius, so that the system is said to be worked as what the definition means. Centrifugal force is the magnitude of net force required to make an object of mass and travels with a constant velocity v in a circle of radius r. The formula to calculate the centrifugal force is mv²/r. The artificial gravity that is produced will only be ideal if the radius of an object that is spinning is large, because the closer the object to the center of rotation, the slower it must move to preserve a constant angular velocity. The Coriolis effect also plays an important role in ensuring that the artificial gravity is produced. The Coriolis force is a fictitious force that acts perpendicular to the velocity of an object in the rotating frame of reference. Human doesn't function as well in weightless situation. The faster the space station spins, the greater the centripetal acceleration felt by the person. The larger the radius of the space station, the smaller the centripetal acceleration. By adjusting the rotational velocity v of the space station, we could adjust the amount of simulated gravity. If adjusted to the right velocity, the centripetal acceleration would equal to the acceleration due to gravity on Earth. This would mean that the person who's standing in space station will feel the same force acting on them as a person who's standing on Earth.
An example of the application of the Coriolis force can be seen through NASA's efforts in the NASA Skylab module. The artificial gravity produced by rotation is far from ideal when the rotational radius is small, because the Coriolis effect is noticed within the rotating frame of reference. In NASA's Skylab module, the radius is about 6.6 meter, which is able to produce 0.7 gram, that is 70% of Earth's gravitational acceleration and would rotate at 9.7 rpm, which is close to Earth's acceleration due to gravity, 9.81 meter per second square. The best conditions to replicate the gravitational acceleration of Earth in outer space stations are having large rotational radii and long periods, because in situations like this, the Coriolis effects are smaller. In addition to that, the International Space Station ISS is in orbit about 350 kilometers around Earth. The major problem faced at the ISS is the lack of gravity acting on objects in the space station. This is because the centrifugal force that is keeping the space station in orbit counteracts with the force of gravity at that altitude. Therefore, anything and everything that is not tied to the floor of the space station will float. It is impractical to make the spaceship accelerate constantly because of limiting factors such as fuel. So, an important way of replicating gravity is through centrifugal force. That is an outward force caused by an object that is being made to follow a certain path of a curved motion instead of a straight line that obeys the law of inertia. Artificial gravity has a very large potential to solve common problems that astronauts face, such as fluid redistribution, cardiac and skeletal muscle deconditioning, loss of bone, mass density. This was proven on board Cosmos 782 in 1975 that 1 gram per 24 hours a day is enough to stop physiological degeneration. So, by eliminating the need to adapt to Earth's gravity, will do away complications during emergency landings. Artificial gravity will also solve the issue of airborne contaminants and cancel the danger of floating materials in the spacecraft. Working towards the near future, there are many designs that have been proposed to build a space station with artificial gravity. They include rotating dumbbell, rotating torus, rigid truss, flexible tether, and onboard centrifuge. The rotating torus design is the design that most people are familiar with, and is the one that is usually depicted on sci-fi TV shows and movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Proposed by Werner von Braun, it is roomy and its very large weight minimizes the counteracting balancing compensation that is needed to keep the space station stable in orbit. Although this large space center is ideal for astronauts to rehabilitate before returning to Earth, it is massive and very expensive to build and maintain. The rotating dumbbell, on the other hand, is a simpler version of the rotating torus, but still maintains the flywheel design. Instead of using an outer rim with modules, it uses spokes. However, this design is still too massive for the near future.
A major positive effect the concept of artificial gravity has on societal needs and society as a whole is the creation of a whole new sector of employment. This creates job opportunities for people interested in exploring space and making advancements in the technology used at the International Space Center. In the United States, over 18,000 civil service employees and 40,000 gratis and contractors work for NASA. Now, this large number proves that if companies like NASA were to open up new areas of research on artificial gravity, the society will be greatly impacted. A clear connection that can be seen between society and artificial gravity is the research that is being done at the University of Texas Medical Branch, UTMB, in Galveston, overseen by NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. a NASA-provided short-radius centrifuge will attempt to protect human test subjects from deconditioning when confined to strict bed rest. But how does bed rest connect to artificial gravity? Bed rest can closely imitate some of the detrimental effects artificial gravity has on the body. For the first time, researchers will systematically study how artificial gravity can act as a countermeasure to prolong simulated weightlessness. The vision for space exploration includes destinations beyond the moon. Now, this major milestone in history can only be achieved if society is a big part of it. Let me tell you something, Brad. The relationship between society and artificial gravity goes both ways. Artificial gravity needs society to be implemented and be successful, and society needs artificial gravity to advance in space travel and advance in the technology at ISS, the International Space Station. In addition to that, the application of artificial gravity will induce economic growth that can lead to prolonged sustainability. This is caused by the spur of job opportunities that the research of artificial gravity creates. NASA's creations and technologies have created advancements in space missions that have created many new products, services, and processes that have led to the creation of jobs, generation of profits, and improving qualities of many lives. According to the California State Library's CRB briefly stated, the aerospace industry is the nation's standout industry due to its highly skilled workforce exports and, not to mention, its continuing role as a source of innovation.
The effect that concepts like artificial gravity has on the environment is almost zero because companies like Greener Aerospace that take pride in ensuring and maintaining the quality of environment will not allow the surrounding environment to be harmed if concepts like artificial gravity were implemented. The research and tests that are carried out continuously to study the concept of artificial gravity will cause advancements in technology to take place. Concepts and applications that only seem like things we watch in futuristic movies may become reality if concepts like artificial gravity were dwelled into. This will also mean that there will be a major evolution in space travel where astronauts will be able to stay in space for much longer periods of time than we can today. If artificial gravity is thoroughly researched and implemented, at places like the International Space Center, the issue of weightlessness will be solved. So astronauts will be able to will have a higher efficiency and work output when they are at the International Space Center than they have today. In conclusion, the application of artificial gravity will positively affect the society at large, has minimal effects on the environment, and will spur the evolution of space travel.
Hi guys, we have just finished recording about artificial gravity and we hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you learned something.
Yeah.
We had a fun time.
Fun. So,
Thanks to everyone who watched, who contributed.
and we were really happy. Oops, tune our Now we're leaving.
We're leaving. We just finished recording after many days of schedules mixing up and no one recording, like no one making time. We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
So, thank you for watching. We hope you understand.
We hope you had fun. We hope if we made you smile a little bit or smirk at some jokes we made, or we hope you had a good experience.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay.
my pimples, please?
Dun, 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 dun.